What's up, folks? It's your boy DT 2.0, and today I got something special. I finally got one. I had to wait a week for it to get delivered at Best Buy and then go pick it up, but I got it because I don't get those pre-production units or these pre-units or advanced units like most of the other reviewers to do. And I pay for this with my own money because I'm low budget Larry, and I have to buy it and then wait for it and then go pick it up. But that's why it's been a while. So here I am back again, and I also have some other ones on order. I'll tell you about those later. But anyway, I got the MSI GE66 2021 version with the RTX 3070, and spoiler alert, you're probably not going to like me for this one, but I don't give a shit. It is what it is. Let's get into it. Now y'all know the routine. This is a consumer review, so if you're looking for an in-depth technical review, it ain't happening here. I'm just giving you the perspective and opinion from a consumer, myself, who may or may not be experienced with dealing with computers. With that, I'll give you my loves, my likes, my dislikes, my concerns, and then last but not least, my recommendations and any other thing I want to add in the back end, right? Is it a keeper or is this shit going back to the store? So here we go. Quick spec rundown. I'm going to be real with you. Other than the graphics card, it's the same damn computer from last year. It has the Core i7 10750H, 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is a little bit faster than last year's or the previous model, 1 terabyte SSD, and both of those, the RAM and the SSD, are upgradable and are replaceable. Even the Wi-Fi killer card, which is what in this instance, Wi-Fi 6E. This, of course, has the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070 card. No Super, no Max Q, just 3070. And I'm kind of feeling that, right? No other shit to confuse the folks. And you have to dig deep to go find out which version of the card that's in there. Anyway, let's look at what we have here. As I always do, on the left side, you have a USB-A port, USB-C port, and a headphone mic combo jack. And the ass end, yes, I said ass, you have a mini display port, another USB-C port, Ethernet port, HDMI port, and of course another, and of course the power jack, which oddly looks like a USB-A port, but I like it anyway. On the right side, and as you can see, I already have my mouse dongle in here, you have two more USB-A ports, and that's USB 3.0 of course, and a full-size SD card slot. So what do I think about that? Still no Thunderbolt, even though it has an Intel chip. Now I know the Thunderbolt normally doesn't come or can't at this point come with the computers with the Ryzen chips in it, but this one has it, and still no Thunderbolt. And I believe the GE60 or the GS66 had a Thunderbolt port. So what the fuck is up with that, MSI? Right? This is the more expensive model. It should have the more advanced options. Anyway. The screen, of course, once again, and I'll log in again. Once again, the design calls for that little junk in the trunk, so it does extend past the back, as you've seen before, and as you've seen on my Alienware M15 and the Lenovo Legion 7i. They all have it, and I kind of like it because it puts the important ports in the back, so when it's sitting on a desk, it looks fairly neat, and you don't have that fucking octopus look with all these fucking cables coming out of the side of your computer. That's just my thing, right? Maybe it's not your thing. Anyway, moving on to the screen. 1080p, 300 nits, 240 hertz, what they still call the ultra-fast gaming display. Fully lit, individual RGB steel case keyboard, and of course the signature light bar in the front, right? And then their slogan, I guess, is light them up. Price at Best Buy was $2,200 before tax. This was not on sale because it's brand new, but the previous model with the RTX 2070 Super is on a good sale right now at about roughly $300 off. But I'll let you decide whether it's worth it to upgrade or wait a few. It just seems like they rushed this computer out as soon as they got those new chips in, and I get it, it's a money grab, so they did what they have to do, right? So now on to my loves. Love number one, I said it last time and I'll say it this time, the screen. Consistency is key, and it seems that every MSI laptop I've purchased has the same near zero backlight bleed. Again, I actually had to look for it, but then I fucking stopped because I didn't want to be disappointed. It's like when you tell your girlfriend or your boyfriend, don't go looking for shit that you don't want to find because you'll find it. Same rules apply here, right? Anyway, the color is great once calibrated, but once again, I'd like it to be more than 300 nits. If Lenovo can do it MSI, so can you. I'll be willing to sacrifice a little bit of battery life for a little bit more screen brightness. Just saying. Now, the 240 hertz is still smooth as fuck. Since I've been working with my Alienware M15 for the last few months, 60 hertz 4K display. Anytime I go back to anything above that, it just looks even more amazing. Even in just day-to-day browsing. I appreciate the smoothness and can't wait until I can get my hands on a 1440p or 4K laptop over 60 hertz. I know they're already out there, but they're just too damn high right now, so I'd rather wait a little bit, again, because I don't have the money like that, right? I'm spending my own money for these. Anyway, that was my love number one. Love number two, and that's the build quality, right? The build is exactly the same as last year. So they pulled a fucking Apple on us. And I'm not hating on Apple, so, you know, all these Apple lovers, don't start jumping in the comments. It is what it is. You know, I got the iPhone, the Apple Watch, and the iPad and all that bullshit, and the MacBook, which I use to edit my videos, but it is what it is. But they pulled the Apple on us. They kept the look, but changed the guts. I got rid of my last one, but after dealing with my M15 for a couple of months and then coming back to this, it just feels just a little bit more compact. So it just goes to show how big the size of the M15 was compared to this, right? But it just looks and it feels a little bit more compact. And I'm not complaining about it though, because I like it. It has just a little less ass than the M15, which is probably the difference. And in this instance, for me, in this instance only, less ass is okay. Love number three, it runs cool, right? Or it still runs cool. And with that 370 in there, it runs cooler than last year's model. I'll give you what I found when I get to the performance part of this video, but for now, it can maintain, I'll just tell you, it can maintain a good temp while gaming. The fans do get up there in sound, right? But they do a good job of keeping the system cool, right? So, and I'll speak about fan noise later, but just know that this thing runs cool, right? The keyboard stays fairly warm, and it does get fairly warm in this area, but nowhere near as warm as on this M15 over here when I'm putting it through a stress test and it's trying to push those 4K pixels. But love number three, this is cool as a motherfucking fan. And then love number four, and the final love, is the warranty, right? I haven't dealt with them personally because I've never had any problems with the computers in general, but MSI is still giving you that free, I'm putting quotes around that, extra 3-month warranty with accident protection with purchase only after you complete a fucking survey, which is total bullshit, right? 13 questions, right? It doesn't ask for anything personal, just to give you a heads up, but it does require you to be logged into your MSI account, which they probably fucking have all the information they need anyway from you. But anyway, 3 months extra is 3 months extra, and I don't mind the low price of $350. So I fucking did it, just in case I waste coffee on it, which I keep by my side every time I do these videos to stay amped. Or either that or liquor. Now on to my likes. And surprisingly, this falls into my likes, and it's the keyboard. Y'all know how I felt about the keyboard in my last review. If you didn't, I'll let you know. But my views haven't changed. It's okay, but the damn shift key right here is killing me, right? The keys have good travel. The lighting is great, good feel and response, but I just can't get over these three things. And it's, again, it's just a copy from last year. This damn shift key, which I keep making a mistake and hitting the enter button when I'm editing any of my documents, right? The lazy ass, let's just call it lazy, the lazy power button, which feels the same as the delete button. So when I go to hit delete, sometimes I hit the power button and it puts it to sleep, right? And then last but not least, which I don't think I mentioned this in my last video, but I just noticed it recently, is this baby ass tab key, which is almost the size of as a letter key. What in the entire fuck? MSI should just fire whoever the keyboard designer is and start from scratch, because it cannot be that hard. Now, you probably can't see it right now, but let me tilt it up. Look at this damn tab key. Look at that shit. Too damn small, right? Look at the shift key. Even though it's not that much smaller than the left shift key, it's still small. So the mistake I normally make when I'm typing and I'm going fast is either I'm going to hit the enter key by mistake or I'm going to hit this up arrow key. What in the entire fuck? Anyway, it falls into a like because overall it's a great keyboard, and with the right training, right, it can work for you. But just know that you're going to train yourself to use it on these keys and then go back to a regular keyboard like on my M15 or any other computer out there, for instance, right? Even the one on my fucking iPad Pro cover, you're going to have to retrain yourself, right? I don't know what they were thinking. Anyway, touchpad is okay still. It's still not the best, but it'll do for the few times that you use it or when I use it. So my feelings haven't changed about that, right? So surprisingly, the keyboard still falls into the like zone because of the overall feel to it. And my final like is the Dragon Center, right? I went over it last time, so I won't go in depth this time, but it's the same and no upgrades here, at least not yet, right? It's not as good in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, as Alienware Command Center, but it does what it's supposed to do. It has quick info, it's informative, easy to make adjustments to the fans, which video card to use, whether it's the internal or the 3070, and change different modes. It's very straightforward and easy once you play with it a little bit. Just like giggity. I can't even say giggity. Anyway, once you play with it a little bit, but just like every other manufacturer version of Command Center, there are some goods and there are some not so goods. But in this one overall, I kind of like the overall look of it. They give you all the information as soon as you go to the home screen, and then you can change your general settings. You know, you can do the GPU switch here. You go to the monitor, it gives you all your information here. You know, it is what it is, right? Gaming mode, you can change the gaming modes, user scenario, extreme, balance, silent, super battery, or user. I've used all of these. I normally keep it in extreme performance because, and I'll talk about this later, I always have it plugged in. But right now I don't because I'm fucking doing this review. Anyway, Dragon Center, my final like. Now on to my dislikes. Dislike number one, and I'm just going to give you guys a spoiler alert. I don't have that many dislikes, and I've already spoke about the things that I don't like overall about this computer. But it is a little chunky, and it does have that junk in the trunk, but really I don't mind it after a while, right? No, it's not sleek and slim, and I realize that now, and after having the GS66, that's not the lane that this computer is in. This computer is not in the sleek and slim lane. Sleek and slim lane is the GS66. But because it's a little bit thicker, because it's been in the gym a little bit, getting a little swole, it does run fairly cool and more powerful. And that's what it is. That's the lane that it's in. So I don't mind it. Dislike number two, speakers still suck ass. I'm just gonna be straight with you and be real with you and be straightforward. Don't even think about using these fucking speakers for any type of gaming, or if you're looking at YouTube and you have something else playing in the background like your TV like I have here, don't even think about it. You're gonna have to mute the TV to listen to some shit, right? They are a little better this year, just a tad bit, but nowhere near as what they should be for a laptop that's $2,200 fucking dollars before taxes. And if you get the protection plan on it, which some folks do. So all this talk about they have right here, this dual wave speaker shit that they have right here. No, all marketing jargon, right? Dual wave my ass. If you want to get good sound out of this one, put in some damn headphones, right? Put in some damn headphones. And surprisingly, I have no other dislikes outside of what I've already mentioned, right? The damn shift key and its sidekick, the baby ass tab key. And I get it, it's mainly for gaming when they designed this keyboard. But what about the folks that can't afford a gaming and a work computer? You're gonna either have to adjust, which I have since using this, or buy an external keyboard. If you love this laptop, then you'll know what you want to do. And I know what I would do. I made too many mistakes, and I really don't want to retrain myself on this particular keyboard because I always flip back and forth between laptops when I'm editing shit. So for me, it's an external keyboard, or I edit on some other shit and just use this solely for gaming. But that's me, because that's what I do, but that's not what you may want to do. You may want to go get an external keyboard. You may want to go get an external mouse. You know, you may want to get other things to make your experience better, but I don't think you should have to do that with a $2,200 computer. And that's just my opinion. That's all for my dislikes. Now on to my concerns. Concerns. I had no problem with last year's model, and I feel the same about this one. It's basically the same computer, and I said it before, with a little bit faster RAM, the new graphics card. Oh shit, I forgot about the graphics card. So what do I think about that? Let's get into that real quick. After testing and comparing with my M15 that's sitting over here, still looking jealous because I always bring computers in and out this motherfucker, which when I was comparing these, I had to make it fair because this is the 4K model over here, so I had to drop the resolution to 1080p to even the odds. I found only a marginal improvement in actual performance between the two cards. If you didn't know, the M15 has a 2070 Super in it. Now, if I run 3D Mark and all that other bullshit, I'll probably see a much bigger difference. But guess what? I don't use 3D Mark in day-to-day activities, and I'm definitely not paying for that shit just to test the graphics card. That's not what this video is for. This is from a consumer's perspective, and there's plenty of other videos out there that you can research and get those results from those tests for this particular card. So I just didn't want to be one of those in a bunch. So when I test these computers, I test them how I use them, and maybe how you would use them, and how I or you would use them for work, school, and gaming. Now, what did I find? Well, and I'll put a graphic up if I remember to show you guys, because just talking it and then seeing it is two different things. But what did I find? Well, I used a reference. My normal reference is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, because it does stress these cards fairly well, especially during the benchmark in the first test and then the third test, right? But what I found that it does perform better when ray tracing is on. I had the settings all at ultra and ray tracing on, and on the 3070, the benchmark ran at 64 frames per second. With ray tracing off at max or ultra settings, it jumped to 87 frames per second average on the 3070 card. Now, with the 2070 Super in my M15, which has a 4K display, and I dropped the resolution down to 1080p, I was able to get 58 frames per second with ray tracing on, and oddly 59 frames per second with ray tracing off. And I ran this test multiple times. So while reviewers and testers and all that say that there's roughly 20% increase in performance, I won't dispute that because I haven't run those tests. But in my one test, which is a fairly good test in my opinion, it was basically a 6 to 10 frames per second difference, which roughly calculated to a 7 to 10% increase in performance. And I ran it multiple times. So is that enough to make you forget about last year's version of this computer and buy this one? And in my opinion, I don't think so. But if you want to future-proof your purchase, then you can get this one. I'm sure after some updates, it'll get better with time, but for right now, I don't think so. You can save your money, get last year's version with the RTX 2070 Super, which I reviewed as great and a definite buy. And so is this one if you want to add the $300 in order to get it. If you got it, if you balling, hey, ball out. But anyway, that's what I have. Before I go, let's talk about two things that some commenters ask about the most in my when I post these videos, especially on these gaming computers, right? Battery life and then fan noise. And again, you know I can't be nothing but real with you guys, right? Battery life I really don't give a shit about, right? And I'm not saying it in bad to you guys, but that's just my personal opinion about battery life, because my laptops are plugged in 90% of the time, especially the gaming laptops. 90% of the time. I never game with the battery, with just the battery, or I never game on battery and only work things like editing or documents or checking emails on battery. This computer on battery will probably last 5 to 6 hours for those functions. If you try to game on it, just fucking forget about it and don't be disappointed about it. Why would you do that? Now with fan noise, this is kind of personal because I'm not bothered by fan noise, right? In fact, I enjoy fan noise. I've been in the Navy almost 28 years, and fan noise is fucking music to my ears. In fact, I can't go to sleep without fan noise, and it's probably an issue I probably need to report to some doctor or something, and I probably will. But remember, when I talk about fan noise, and that's just me. So if I say it's not bad and then you get the computer and you deem it bad, don't turn the tables on me, because I'm just giving it to you from my perspective. Now, this fan is not as loud as the M15, because the M15 does get kind of loud as fan noise, right? M15 does actually sound like it's about to fucking take off. So this one is not that bad. You can hear it, and for some, they'll consider it loud, but it's loud for a reason. It's keeping your shit cool and from burning up. So if it's really loud, you probably need to, it's probably trying to keep up with the heat, and you probably need to back off some on your gaming or knock down your settings so it can cool off, and then get back into your gaming. So that's all I have to say about fan noise and battery life. In conclusion, and I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, so I'm kind of rushing through it because my shit's been running kind of long. But overall, I'm really satisfied with this laptop. The performance is still great. It still runs cool. It's still upgradable. The screen is still one of the best I've seen and consistent throughout. It's flashy when you want it to be and business-like when you don't. And it's just cool looking with a little bit of junk in the trunk, which I like with the ports, with having the ports in the back. So do I recommend it? I've already said it, of course. You can get it, but you can still be satisfied with getting last year's version if you want to save money, and you'll still be quite happy. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, this is DT 2.0. Take care. Peace.